Phil, welcome to the programme. Well, actually, we should say Phil Kelsall MBE, because I was surprised nobody mentioned that in the introduction. I mean, that's an honour, isn't it?
I don't go shouting about it, It's a great honour to have it, of course. And it was a lovely day when my family and I went down to the palace to receive the award of Prince Charles.
Phil, I reminded listeners of words you said in our last meeting back in 1983. Those being that you just completed 10 years of music in Blackpool and you wanted to equal Reginald Dixon's 40-year tenure there. Well, you've done it. Congratulations. How does it feel?
Well, yeah, it feels good. I don't know how I feel really. It's great honour. It's a great privilege to have been playing there for so long. It just doesn't feel like 40 years. It's gone ever so quickly. It just feels like yesterday I was playing there in the 80s, but everything's gone so quickly, and it's still a great job, it's still something I enjoy doing. And as much as I did when I first started, the organ, as you know, in Blackpool is a superb instrument, and it's a joy to play, and it still is. It's in tip-top working order, and it's just great. And playing for dancing, it's totally different to playing for a concert, but it's a skill that I've developed over the years, and hopefully found my own style. I suppose it's a bit of a cross between Reg Dixon and Ernest Broadbent. Both organists I admired very much. So it's a great honour. I'm still there, going strong.
You told me 3 decades ago that there was no job quite like the one you have, and yet in a world, I guess, where the workforce moves around more often than it has ever done before, what's really been the driving force to keep Phil Kelsall turning in to the Tower Ballroom year after year?
Yeah, it can become monotonous if you're not careful, and the music can sag, and it can't be as fresh. But I try to keep the music fresh. And basically, what else would I do? I'm a trained musician. I can't drive a bus or tram or a taxi or something. I can't go and work on an aeroplane. I'm a trained musician, and playing the theatre organ, the Blackpool Tower is the only venue, apart from Thursford in Norfolk, which is played by my mate Robert Wolfe. Blackpool is the only venue that employs a full-time theatre organist, so I can't go anywhere else.
It's a silly question. Have you, in this 40th year, have you counted how many times you've been up and down on the Wurlitzer lift?
No, well, you can work the maths out. I've been there 40 years.
I'm not good at maths.
I play roughly 3 times a day, and the season's 20 weeks. So it's 20 weeks times 40.
We'll get the calculator out.
It's a lot of times,
I suppose, though, seriously speaking and commercially speaking, there's obviously been many changes to how organ music has been presented in the ballroom as the years have gone on. I mean, how challenging is it to you and your team to attract holidaymakers, visitors to the Tower in a ever-changing seaside resort such as Blackpool is?
Well, you're right, it is ever-changing, and from when I first played in 77 to what it is now, it's a totally different type of atmosphere. The whole holiday pattern has changed over the years, and in those days people came to Blackpool and they probably stayed a week, and they would go to all the shows and come in the Tower and go see the circus. And nowadays it's more transient, the more day trippers, so they drive over in the morning from wherever, Birmingham or somewhere, 2 hours on the motorway, as you know. And they can be in the Tower or Blackpool, and they choose to come in the ballroom, or they don't choose to come in the ballroom. So the people we get now are not so much general holidaymakers, but more, they've come in specially. They're ballroom dancers, yes, basically. And we have a core amount of people that visit every day. I can tell, if I look at the people in the ballroom, I can tell what day it is. And they come every week, sometimes 2 or 3. There's a lady here in the audience today. She comes every day. They're retired, of course, and they sit in the ballroom and dance the whole day away. So we get more of a dancing crowd now than we used to. In the heyday, in the 70s, my heyday, it was more holidaymakers, and which, of course, is how it was when Reg was playing in its heyday in the 50s and the 40s. But nowadays, it is more of a dancing fraternity, and this is all thanks to the great success of the BBC programme, Strictly Come Dancing. It's encouraged a lot of people. We get a lot of younger people now, a lot of young dancers. They sometimes come in every week to practice. So it's more, the focus is more on dancing now than it used to be.
You're on a bit of an away day today, I suppose, at the Compton, the Paramount here. It's a stopover, isn't it? Because you've been doing lots of concerts here and abroad in your 40th year, Phil. And I suppose as you travel around, you must be really a good barometer as to the popularity of the theatre organ, the cinema organ. Would you say that it's now kind of better or worse than when you started out? And I guess crucially, what can be done to maintain the impetus and to make sure that these wonderful instruments remain as popular and preserved for the future? Yeah.
Well, of course, we don't get the audience numbers we used to. It's a demographic thing. What you have to realise is that the area of people that like the theatre organ, people that were in their teenage years, in the 20s and 30s, those people always will like the music when they were teenagers and when they were young. And all these people that come to the theatre organ, a lot of it's nostalgia for them. So sadly, a lot of them aren't with us anymore. So the people from the next generation from the theatre organ, which was probably the big band, Glenn Miller, that type of era, they will always like that type of music, and they will follow Glenn Miller and the big bands. And the following era, the 50s, the rock and roll, those people will always like rock and roll. So you're not going to get people suddenly changing their allegiance from liking Elvis Presley to liking a theatre organ. Fortunately, there are a lot of younger people that do enjoy theatre organ and the organ in general. There's a lot of young people coming up now that are learning to play and learning to, more importantly, learning to look after them. People like Kevin Grinnell, he knows his way around theatre organ. He can build anything. He's marvellous. So it relies on people like that to keep it going. It's like a museum, like an old Lancaster bomber. The technology, the parts are always there. The pipes won't wear out, so they'll go on forever, providing there are people to maintain them.
And talking of the future, Phil, what's your next milestone? What's the future hold for Phil Kelsall?
Well, I'm getting on a bit now. I'm no spring chicken, 60 years old. I think Reg packed in the tower when he was 65, so I'm not if that's a milestone or not. The beauty about the tower is I can do as much or as little as I want. So at the moment, whilst I'm in good health, I'm doing 5 days a week, etc. But if I want to, I could take it easy and just do 4 days a week. I can control the sessions. I can control my concert diary. At the moment, I do about 1 concert a week in the winter, so I can control that and do less if I want to. So it's a nice position to be in.
But it is an incredible achievement, Phil. I mean, Ruby anniversary, I think, is what it would be if it was a husband and wife or relationship. And you are a great ambassador for the organ world. The next step on the horizon is going to be the gala evening. How do you feel about being the centre of attraction on June the 18th?
Well, I'm very much looking forward to it because, as you know, the tower now is all dancing 7 days a week. There's very little chance to play the Wurlitzer or hear the Wurlitzer played in concert mode, so I'm looking forward to it for that alone. I'm hoping Reg Dixon's daughter might be there as well, and a few organists from the past. It'll be nice to catch up with those members from the organ team when I first started in 1977, people like Alan Skirrow, names you'll know, and David Graham. I'm hoping he's going to be there, so it's going to be great catching up with those guys. And I'm looking forward to it very much indeed. It's creeping up ever so slowly.
Thank you very much, Phil. I know it's in interval time here, and you need to catch, as you said, well-deserved cup of something at least. So can we pencil, you mentioned the diary, can we pencil a date in then for the next 30 years? Is that, perhaps not then.
For the next 30 years? Well,
we should see
look at my old mate,
every few years.
Look at my old mate Arnold Oxon. He was playing when he was 90, so, many a true word said in jest.
Phil, lovely to talk to you, and many congratulations, seriously, again, on what is an incredible achievement.
Thanks very much. Thank you.